We're going to start the meeting with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to start this evening's meeting with a public hearing to consider a proposed local law which provides for the election of village justice in 2023 to a 5-year term ending in 2028, which is a general village election date. We did the pledge, so reading of proof of publication. I should look at the menu first.
Okay. Notice is hereby given that pursuant to Section 7-706 of the Village Law of the State of New York and pursuant to resolution of the Village Board of the Village of Baldwinsville, adopted October 6, 2022, a public hearing will be held by the Village Board of the Village of Baldwinsville at Village Hall, 16 West Genesee Street, on the 20th day of October at 7:30 p.m. to consider a proposed local law to alter the term of the village justice to a single 5-year term beginning in 2023 in order to allow the election after 2023 of the village justice to be held in 2028 in order to coincide with the biennial even years in which the general elections of the village are held pursuant to village law sections 302 5A and 3027B. The term of the village justice would thereafter be 4 years. A copy of the proposed local law may be examined by any interested party at the office of the village clerk. At the time and place of the hearing, all interested persons would be given an opportunity to be heard.
Glad I didn't have to read all that. Is there anybody wanting to speak in favor of the proposal? Is there anyone wishing to speak against the proposal? Not hearing any comments, could I have a motion to adjourn and close the public hearing?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Moving on to the regular meeting of the village board, could I have a motion to approve the village board meetings from October 6, 2022?
Moved.
Second. There, I'm in the minutes.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now we move to public comment. Is there anyone in the, that's not an audience, but is there anyone who would like to address the board this evening? If you would, I'd like you to come to the mic, give us your name and address, and tell us what you need. Okay, well, Sally's here, so Dick knows, but she's passing.
Must be a good book she's reading.
Okay, moving on to trustees' comments. We'll start with Nate tonight.
Let's just stick to the agenda.
Agenda for me too, thanks.
I'm going to stick to the agenda with the exception of scheduling an executive session for potential litigation. So I guess that's going to be under new business item E. Moving on to Megan.
I will just stick to the agenda.
You two, what?
I got a real quick thing. Marsh Mill Ranch does venison processing. They're out of Kirkville. And last year they donated nearly 7,000 pounds to the Central New York Food Bank. So if you're a hunter, you could donate your kills to them by calling 315-633-2888. I'm not a hunter. I clipped a deer last year. Luckily, did not get the full thing down, but if you are unfortunate enough to clip a deer or you see a fresh kill, you can call this number too, and they will come process this. There's no charge to you. They donate the venison to the Central New York Food Bank. The number once again is 315-633-2888. And I'll stick to the agenda for the rest of it.
That brings us to the mayor's comments.
Yeah, good tonight. We have a busy calendar coming up, so I wanted to take a moment to thank Chuck particularly, but the DPW and everyone else for, great job with the playground ribbon cutting. It was a very nice event. The county executive was there, a couple of our board members, Megan and Eric, were there. Beautiful day, and it's always nice when the county comes and puts you in the spotlight, and it was nice that the Lions Club enjoyed their moment. I got a real nice letter. I'll try to send a copy to everybody from Lion Ron Schmidt, thanking everybody, particularly Chuck and the DPW, for making this all happen and for the great cooperation. It's nice when people see that the village is here to cooperate. And certainly we did in that situation. Looking forward to this next summer and seeing kids all over the playground. I guess the last thing I've heard from Chuck today is the traffic light at Downer Street in Frawley is working. The hats off to the Syracuse Signal or whatever it is that runs the traffic light business. They came out and turned it on as a public safety sort of a donation. But I think some of the problems still linger. We got to make sure that the owners understand that they have to take care of that and get it set up so it doesn't go off all the time. It's become much more regular, but I'm glad we got it on. And I know that Chuck, with the help of the chief, not put pressure on, but did kind of put pressure on people to, that this needs to get taken care of. And it finally did. Busy weekend this weekend, Halloween coming up, not till the 31st, but Saturday morning, window painting goes on from 10 to 1. That's a Town of Lysander project, and I think it had to register by last Friday, but it's still kind of fun to drive through the village and see everybody painting. The group called Our Apiary is putting on the Oktoberfest this weekend on Saturday. Noon to 8. It's kind of modeled after the Margarita Fest and the Polar Bear Express pub crawl that goes on in the big show. Going from business to business, Oktoberfest food or drink at whichever of the places you go, and then you throw your card in. It's $10 to take part. The Chamber of Commerce is having their business trick-or-treat Saturday from 11 to 1:30 throughout the village. Just got to go around with your costumes on and figure out which business, I'm sure they'll be marked, which businesses have candy and stuff. The Community Wesleyan Church is having the Trunk or Treat event from 6 to 8 in the parking lot over on Downer Street. Wear a costume and go vehicle to vehicle and people's trunks and get candy. Also, the Orange and Olive business is down next to the hardware store. They're having their Spook Hollow Festival 3 to 9 Saturday at Lysander Park. Costs $2. A haunted house, face painting, craft vendors, trick-or-treating, and a movie. Pretty nice day. I would say if you start with window painting at 10 and finish with the events at night, it's a pretty good day, and that isn't even Halloween yet. And then we have trick-or-treating on the 31st. That's from 6 to 8. Please only go to houses where there are lights on, and please drive carefully because it's dark, it's wet, usually wet leaves on the ground, kids darting in and out. It's a scary kind of night for people driving, so be a little extra cautious. Let's see what else I might have here. Just remind people daylight savings time is coming, at the ending, November 6th. State elections, November 8th. Got a note from the people who did the collecting of the water chestnuts. Those are the things floating on the river up past Cooper's, and now it's Case Marina, all the way up to Cross Lake. They've figured out they took in 2.294 million pounds of water chestnuts. It's funded. This project is funded by the county, and a lot of the local farmers allowed people to bring those wet chestnut things and plop them on their property and plow them in, use them as fertilizer. So hopefully, I think the plan is to do it again next year, and Brown River cleaned up. And I think that's all I have. I'm wearing the orange for Syracuse, big game Saturday. If you have Verizon, you won't be able to see it unless you can squawk loud enough to Verizon people to get this thing settled with Nexstar and so on. So, go Orange.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I left something I thought you were going to cover. I'd like to send the condolences out to the family of Ernie Ham, who used to come here and do the filming for PAC-B several nights. He was an asset to our community, and he'll be missed.
Yeah, I went to school with Ernie, and he was a couple years ahead of me, but great guy then. And when he came back to town, got involved in everything, and just was never a wasted minute when you had a chance to talk with Ernie. Great guy, and condolences to the family. Thanks for reminding me, Bruce.
Dick,
Yes.
are you going to have another executive session? Personnel matter?
Oh,
You were going to call an executive session RE personnel.
oh, yes, I'm going to have an executive session, personnel matter.
That'll be item F.
Right. Very good. Thanks, Mo.
You get pressured into putting an executive session.
Okay, moving on to department heads. We have a substitute attorney. Is there anything you'd like to tell us?
No, but thank you for having me, and then I'm happy to be here. I'm certainly not Bob, but I'm glad to be here in his stead.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to our village clerk.
No, I'll stick to the agenda.
Okay. The senior center, Ruth Troy.
This board's already aware that the senior center operates under a three-way municipal agreement and that our funding comes in some part from the towns. I did spend a few minutes at each town board meeting this week, and as my understanding at this time, both towns intend to fund us at the same level that they have in the past. So for fiscal year 2023, we are anticipating receiving $66,950 as we have for the past decade. So,
From each town.
from each town. And I do want to just also add to that, happy that that's going to go down that way, but I would still encourage the seniors and any family members who would like to reach out to their town boards and supervisors to mention how much the center means to them and is helpful to their family. So I would encourage you to do that so that they are reminded of the good work that happens at the senior center. And that being said, there's a few things I want to share. So, believe it or not, it's time to request a home-delivered meal for Thanksgiving. The deadline for that is quickly approaching, which will be November 4th. So please call the senior center if you'd like a home-delivered meal from the rescue mission on Thanksgiving. Call us by November 4th so we can make sure that that happens for you. The Christmas deadline is December 2nd. So if you're interested in that, have both those dates in mind. We do have a limited supply of COVID home test kits for seniors if you need one. Just come by and let us know. We'll take care of that for you. We have a special event happening on October 31st, so come by and have a good time. There's music at 11 o'clock, live music with John Bona, and make luncheon reservations for noon. It's local favorite Chicken Riggies, and you need to make your reservations by October 28th. One final comment. The Home Energy Assistance Program will be opening soon. Our neighborhood advisor is going to her training for that on November 1st, so anytime after November 1st, Nancy Sullivan will be ready to help you with your HEAP application. And that's it, unless you have questions.
Move along to the superintendent of public works.
Dick touched about the ribbon cutting. It went very well. I just want to thank a lot of the highway department guys they're down there, and there's a lot of work that we did with getting the site ready. All the 6x6s that got put in. We just did a lot of landscaping. They did a lot of work in conjunction with the Lions. They helped us also with we work very good back and forth with them. But we have a lot of different talent there, and they all use it to get that done. Even the guardrails. We got a guy that's big on guardrails, and it really that project came out really well. and everybody, I think everybody was happy for the ribbon cutting. Pretty much everything is, we're getting right down to winter mode. All the garbage cans we picked up after the window painting, the benches are up, the flowers are all in. Tomorrow, we hope to have the docks in from the island. The island's closed. We've left the bathrooms open in Mercer Park and Community Park for a little bit longer because there's still a lot of nice days. And after that, we'll be closing up for the winter. Salt's starting to come in, so it's certainly that time of year. This week, we're not sure what day, we're waiting for the contractor, but we have a water leak on Oneida Street by the bridge there. And when we do that, east of Oneida by Mechanic, that area is going to be closed. We're going to have to reroute traffic over there. It'll probably be for a couple of days. They may be a couple different days depending on how the contractor goes, but we'll be getting in touch with 911 center and with the police, fire department, and the school district as well, because that'll cause a little problem there. But we're thrilled that we can finally get the contractor here and get that taken care of. The culvert project there at Tannery Creek, we've had some real big storms. We were concerned that it might back up a little bit. It did not. That project's gone well. We have a bunch of restoration we have to finish up with, but we're real happy the way that came out. I was up on the Smoky Hollow project this week. I want to send you all some pictures so you can see the beginning. You know, they had the 10-foot cattails up there. That's dry up there. It's taken water real well. The homeowners are starting to mow some of it, and it hasn't looked. It's had standing water in it for years, and that project came out very well also. Other than that, unless there's questions, all set.
Still once a week with the yard pickup?
We've gone to once a week with the yard picker. Yeah. Now the leaves are coming down. It will be until they're done. Because once we get into it, we can't usually get all the way through the village in a week.
Okay, moving on to the police chief.
Thank you, Trustee Stebbins. Just wanted to comment, obviously since our last board meeting, there's been a very high-profile arrest that our department made in the community. It's drawn a significant amount of media attention, both in central New York and actually nationally, because I've had many media outlets reach out to me. I'm not going to comment about that particular incident other than to say I appreciate the level of professionalism that our staff exhibited during that time period. I'm proud of the people that were working that time, and you know, that's all I'll say about that right now. I did hold a media event, obviously, a week and a half ago about that incident, and that matter is referred to the district attorney's office for prosecution and disposition, and I'll let the district attorney and his staff determine what the best outcome there is. But from our point of view, and my point of view personally, I'm proud of our staff and our officers for their conduct and their professionalism during that time period. Other than that, we do have an agenda item tonight, and I will stick to that.
Okay.
Unless there's questions or comments by this board. Thank you.
Moving on to pending business, a motion approving the proposed local law which provides for the election of the village justice in 2023 for a 5-year term ending in 2028, which is a general village election date.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
We should have done it 5 years ago.
Well, obviously, yes, the purpose is we've been trying to do this to get
You just needed
all the
Eric and me to
elections.
make a motion.
Yeah. And the benefit is we don't hold an election for one person, so we
It's usually
save money.
It's usually unopposed and.
Well, yeah.
So it's a,
So one last time, we have to hold a single election.
Will you be using the ballot box like?
I won't be, but it will be a ballot box.
Oh, okay. Well, you might be an election official. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Well, I assume you'll inform the Chief Justice that his term will be changing?
Yes,
And he's aware?
yes, he's aware of everything that has transpired.
He's on the hook
And
through
he's-
2028, so he knows.
He's aware.
Under new business, could I have a motion authorizing the mayor to sign the 2023 renewals of the current Excelis copay medical plan at an 8.6% increase, and the high deductible medical plan at a 6.8% increase, and the current dental plan at a 3% increase with an effective date of January 1, 2023.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion?
Could have been worse.
And I did.
And both unions have
Yes.
reviewed
And I didn't hear anything back from either, so I'm taking that as they didn't want
okay.
us to look further.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item B, motion appointing Joseph G. Sarah the third as a full-time police officer at a salary of $62,217 with an effective date of October 22nd, 2022. Could I have a motion and a second?
I'll make one.
Second.
And I'll turn it over for discussion to the chief.
Yeah, we had hired Officer Sarah in a part-time capacity a few months ago. He comes to us from Hampton, Virginia, where he had served as a police officer down there for about 2.5 years. We've been working through the process with the Division of Criminal Justice Services, DCJS in New York State, to bring him up to New York certification. He went through an extensive academy down in Virginia, but New York has its own set of requirements that we've met, that we've submitted that down to them. He did take the civil service examination and passed that. He is a village resident. He and his fiance live here in the village, and so we canvassed the civil service list, and he is within the top scores on that list. So now we're transitioning him into that full-time role, and he's still in training. Probably won't come off of field training until maybe the first week in December or so, but this will fill our vacancy from Sergeant Sarankowski's retirement at the end of January. So this will bring us ostensibly to full strength, staffing wise, not necessarily full strength and able-bodied individuals, but that's where we are with him. I will have him come in a meeting in the future for appropriate cake and things as well.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I knew that question would be asked, so I figured I'd preempt it, as it were. So I would ask for the board's ratification of this. I think he's going to be a good addition to our organization.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, sir.
Item C, motion to declare a surplus of the following: a 1979 Ford tank truck, VIN of F90LVFA8392, and a Ford four-door sedan. This is Greg's car?
It is.
Oh gee, what's he gonna do? A VIN of 2AFP73W16X130674.
I'll second it. I like how you're able to read the VI numbers.
I didn't know
But
that.
any passage by the local law or whatever, you skip over that.
I would, but they're here, so I don't dare skip anything. That's
Ruby's
awesome.
thorough when she sends me a motion.
Well, this way we know we've got the right vehicle.
Oh,
We're
it's
only approving this
smart.
VIN number.
That's Eddie. Good job.
Any other discussion?
About 3 times for it. In the rain.
All in favor? Opposed? Is this the truck that
This is the Flesher trucks of this.
Tim
Yes.
got from Ogdensburg or
Yes,
something?
and it's been converted, and it's been this, and we put a bunch of money in the motor, and now it doesn't move, and it needs a transmission, so it's gonna go just as well in the junkyard.
This is so this is Tim's sayonara.
Okay.
Okay. Item D, motion to appoint Melissa Pinella as a deputy village clerk at a salary of $43,000 with an effective date of November 14th, 2022.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Discussion?
I had the opportunity to meet Melissa through the interview process, and I think she's going to be a nice addition to the village clerk's office. She comes with a lot of nice experience and seems to be excited to be
Yes.
Closer to home.
closer to home. She's moved here from, where is she?
Herkimer County.
Herkimer now. She's been commuting to Herkimer every day for work, and so she's excited. This is going to be a great way for her to learn her new community. So.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Welcome, Melissa. Will you bring her to a village meeting someday?
Oh, definitely. Maybe
Okay.
we'll have pie instead.
All right. A little variation here.
Scone.
There goes the diet.
Item E, could I have a motion to move into executive session?
Moved.
Second.
Unless there's any other business anybody wants to bring up before doing so. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Sally, you sure? All right.
Dick, should Chuck's remain for this?
I don't think we need Chuck. The one we might want to have the attorney stay for the litigation one.
Well, that's the first one.
Yeah, and then the second one I think is just us and maybe Mo.
Okay.
She can come answer any questions we have.